Click the button.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
true.
you. Whoa, he has a new job.
They're like,
Okay. I'm going to call this meeting to order, and we'll start by taking roll from my right.
Cody Gatchis.
Walter Snyder, Tony Rebo.
Ron Goodman.
Elias Snow,
Rob Delman.
B.G. Zimmerman.
please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, I will take any comments from the members of the audience on any non-agenda items. Okay, moving on, we will be setting our October meetings. Monday, October 6th at 4:30 for a special agenda meeting. Monday, October 13th at 6:30 for a regular board meeting.
It's okay with me.
Is that a motion?
I move that we set the agenda for the month of October for October 6th at 4:30 and October the 13th at 6:30.
I'll second.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Walt to approve the October's monthly meetings as listed. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, moving on to the consideration of August minutes.
Good job.
Uh-huh.
Well written.
Okay, I need a motion, please.
I make a motion that we approve the monthly minutes for August.
I second it.
I have a motion by Rob and a second by BG to approve Monday, August 4th, agenda meeting, Monday, August 11th, regular board meeting, Tuesday, August 12th, policy review committee meeting, Thursday, August 14th, insurance committee meeting, Monday, August 18th, activities committee meeting, Monday, August 18th, special board meeting and final budget hearing, and Thursday, August 28th, board of trustee training. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, budget and finance.
I move that we approve the trustees' financial report for August 2025 for a total of $452,479.27. Approved warrants 18008 through 18061. No voided warrants.
Second.
I have a motion by Rob and a second by BG to approve the August trustee financial report. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed. Okay. Then we will move on to the leadership team. Scott.
Wow.
Not pretty.
Just real quick, enrollment in the middle high school, we're sitting at 507. That number changes every day, but that's a pretty rough number where we're at. Before we enrolled almost 50 new kids for the start of the year, and there was 26 that were on our rosters last spring that either moved away or haven't came back yet. So we're up about 22 kids. And then just high school wise, there's 12 additional kids that are just signed up only just for extracurricular. So probably a bunch of 7th graders. It's up a little bit. Senior class always is kind of disturbing to have such a low senior number. They were kind of low last year too, but just that's always kind of a concern. But so 500 just in our building alone is where we're at for the start of the year. Again, just start of the year, obviously I think all of our activities are off to a pretty good start. Mark will talk about the participation, but it's pretty well. Mark and I we met with each grade, all the grade levels individually, and just last week, and just kind of expectations, what we expect out of them in the classroom, in the hallways, parking lots, that kind of stuff. Parking lot has looked really good for the last 4 days, so
That's great.
I'm thrilled with those kids. They've been doing a good job of taking up the parking lot. So it seems kind of trivial, but it was just
It's a big thing.
it's a big deal.
That's fun.
Their first fire drill last week. We got a lockdown coming up later this week. Putting together a new safety committee just to review and update all of our safety procedures. It's just well overdue. That needs to get done, so we'll work on it this year. And then this Wednesday is our first half-day release with our professional development, so I'll just be excited to see how that is going to go for everybody. Other things, just know, just homecoming week's coming up here really quick, so we started planning for that already. We got our high school student council kind of up and running. I met with them for the second time today at lunch. Still, I've got a 9th grade president, but I still need to get some reps to represent 9th grade, but really want the student council to be more involved in just having a voice this year in the building. So just what's going on with climate, just we need to increase our activities, clubs, those kind of things. So I'm hoping Ashley Cochran will also be the board rep. That'll be here starting in October, but they're all really gung-ho to kind of get that student council up and going with agendas and following just their Robert Rule of Orders and kind of getting more involved. So kind of happy with that. Just roughly 50 kids in our building that with IEPs that we're kind of working on right now, just so you guys have an idea where we're at with that. I think we have all of our high school schedules, everybody's scheduled into classes and completed, and just all those weird things that seem to come up, like picture day and the Jocelyn rep coming to talk to the seniors about ordering their senior announcements and sophomore class rings and all that kind of stuff. So it just seems like every day, every week, there's just 4 or 5 activities going on that, as much as we want to try to keep kids in class, it seems like we keep making schedules to pull them out of class. So I'm hoping once we get through September, then we'll kind of settle down a little bit. And then just right now, I'm still looking for that halftime woodshop teacher. Fingers crossed, no pun intended for that, but we met with, I met with this gentleman today. He is retired. He's actually a Libby graduate. That's retired out of Alaska, moved back. It's actually Tony Brigitte's best friend that built all the Eagles with him.
Oh,
Darren Greason. Anyway, met with him today. He's really, really interested. Gonna follow up with him tomorrow, but I really felt like he was gonna take the job. So hopefully he'll, within another week, he's gonna get online, get the application filled out. So I'm excited
he knows
about
how
that.
long the job is for.
Yeah, he's taught more welding classes. He's never really been in the wood shop, but he is a shop teacher and he's got a certification, so that helps. And then I got to give James Keller a huge shout out. Second day of school, when the other gentleman quit, he came in and just said, I got you, I'll cover it. I'll stay in there for 2 or 3 weeks until you get it covered. He's doing it for free. He's volunteering his time.
Does he not teach for us anymore?
He teaches half-time staff, but he's retired back part-time, so we can't pay him. And he just said, nope, I'll just do it. It's just, I'll cover you. So if you ever see him, man, I mean, he saved our bacon big time. So I'm just really grateful for him. And it is amazing how just when things happen, there's always school personnel who just step up to the plate and get things done. So this year seems to be the paraprofessional shortage, but I just lost another paraprofessional over the weekend. It's unfortunate. She's actually going through some cancer treatment. Thought she could work through the chemo and work at the same time, and she just said she can't do it. So she's stepping down. So I'm 2 paraprofessionals short right now that we'll be looking to hire. So that's kind of where we're at with IMAP for the opening of our first, so day number 7. You guys have any questions or anything?
Is the 51 IEPs, is that about?
Yeah, that's pretty normal. I would think that's pretty average. So seems like a lot. There's probably 100, and you probably have at least
Same-ish.
yeah,
Yeah.
120 in the district. So
Does that count 504s?
no.
No.
That's what I thought.
So I'll pick up here. Nick actually shared this with me. He's at the JV football game tonight, so he couldn't be here. But those are our numbers for our participation which are really, really good. Overall, in the high school in the bottom there are 205 kids, and that's 64% of our high school students are participating in, in some type of extracurricular. Our middle school, 46% of our students are doing one of those 3 sports. And then we have a good number of the elementary students doing 5th and 6th grade football and volleyball. So really good participation. The bottom of res is showing that, I'm not sure if that number is right, but 346 between 5th and 12th grade. So huge participation. And so we're off to a really good start with getting kids involved. And then just a few updates. Football's off to a great start, 2-0. They had 2 teams that they played, Brownie and Stevensville this past part. I don't know when the last time they had running clocks. So they weren't great challenges. They're gonna have big challenges coming week in Hamilton. So, but they still got the victory and came out well, especially having a small team. Cross country, Capri Farmers sitting 3rd in Class A, and Allie Clemens in 28th. Cody Watts. That's some of the results from that. I think it was the Rebecca Farms in Kalispell. And so that's really, really good. Volleyball coaches and players were excited for what they saw at the tip-off, which was on Polson. They tried a handful of new things and are ready to start conference game this week. Then golf, Coach Rohrer said they're having fun. It's a young group of kids. And we have our home tournament this week at the golf at Kevin Peaks up there. Soccer, both boys and girls, 1-1. They play CBI at home Saturday. And a really fun group to watch. Our kids are working really hard, very young. Good things will be hopefully soon see happen. So really great start. Good, a lot of enthusiasm and buzz about the programs. Just a quick snapshot of the meetings we got scheduled for this year. Our school leadership team and MTSS team will be meeting once a month. Teacher grade level meetings will be twice a month. Department meetings twice a month. And LMHS Parent Council, first meeting was today. We actually had 8 parents. I guess 9 if you count me. I'm not a parent, but I was there too. And so that was double what we had last year. And it seems like a lot of good interest and talk of hopefully some more that'll be coming to help out and support the school and the teachers. So have that meeting once a month. You can go next, sir. Club starting soon. So chess club, meet once a week after school. I still don't have a sponsor. It's challenging sometimes to get sponsored. I'm going to get somebody though. If not, I'll do it. The middle school, high school SCA, Fellowship for Christian Athletes will start in a week from now. They'll meet once a week. 29th is the middle school sponsor. April is the high school. React Club is going to be a new club. Got a grant from OPI for $8,000, and some of that will be to pay for a sponsor. So they're going to get paid whoever's going to do that. And it's just a group that will help engage, inspire, strive to achieve, first service back for your generation. So there's all kinds of things they can do with PA announcements, posters, and just kind of trying to get a student-led type, peer-to-peer type group to help, look at the vaping and mostly the vaping, I guess. The vape center has not gone off this year too. So I'm amazed. Yeah, so that's good. There's a big highlight. They already started on that. If the weather holds up tomorrow, they're going to be pouring cement. That's out at the practice field. And that'll be a 50 by 60 court, 2 hoops, and hopefully within 2 weeks or within a week or so, we'll have that for the middle schoolers. That was a lower grant.
Super good.
Middle schools now have some place in basketball. The whole community will be out there.
That's it.
I think that. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Any questions about any of that?
What's the role of a sponsor for like chess club? You said if no one does it, you'll do it. What is that?
It's just something to be with the kids for an hour after school.
Okay.
So we're not competing with other schools. We would range from 2 to 3 kids to 5 or 6 that would come and play chess. And they just, just to be with them. And sometimes
Just some supervision a little
yeah,
bit.
just supervision. A lot of times teachers will stop by and play too. So you're welcome to come by and play when we get it going. I'll let you know what it is.
Yeah, I'm not smart enough for that game. I was more of that run into things and stop them. kind of guy.
Super excited about that React.
Yes,
Yes.
That is a very good group.
and I know that's gonna be easy to get, because that person will be paid, there's money in that grant that would for salary for a teacher too. You can bring in speakers, and there can be all kinds of things there, and I think it would be a plus. Very good things about Reacts in school, so.
Do they have, and you may not know the answer, do they know the cessation as far as getting kids off of nicotine addictions?
There's the quit lines. I've talked to kids. I know I first talked to them and said, you want some help? There's been 2 kids, and I don't know if Mr. Vigos had some, that,
Yeah.
I've been doing it since 8th grade. I've been doing it
I think
since
they-
8th grade. And
they
so
use
there's
Not a lot.
no, there's not a lot, but,
I'll support the kids who want to quit to help them quit.
That's just, not a rabbit trail, but there's just a ton of kids that are addicted to nicotine.
Are they moving just to Zins?
They-
There's a lot of that too.
Zin, oh, the pouches? Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a kid smoking the other day. I thought it was like, I see something moving back and down.
Wow.
Cigarettes.
That's a lost, that's a
Yeah.
lost art.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
No more smokers corner. Just-
Okay. Janine.
Our attendance, 52 new students
Hi, Jenny.
this year, 28 students that have dropped. Over last year, start of the year, 538, 8. Kind of deceiving because end of year, we ended at 560. But when you enrolled that 6th grade class that went up to kindergarten, it ended up being pretty much a wash. So 557 is start of the year.
So this is just a dashboard that continually updates, that provides access to anything and everything LES. So it's a one-stop shop for all of our employees. And it's had rave reviews. We started it last year, and it's a nice tool. It's a hub, everything in one spot.
Everything that you can think of is there. It's nice.
So they just click those icons and.
Yeah, they're all like I just updated it today in our appraisal system, that part, yeah. And then we have several new teachers that we welcomed, and it's great having Mrs. Rigney Wolf in the building full-time. She's a great support to some of our high-need special education classrooms, in addition to the speech-only IEP students. And Caitlin England has been a great addition as an additional instructional coach, which helps us move towards meeting our goals for the grant. And then we have Alicia Stoneham, which is a new para that we just hired last week. And then Raylene Hayden and Aubrey Stoll have had a strong start as well. We are still looking for at least 2, but I need to sit down with the teachers from both our Emotional Growth Center and Functional Classroom to really put pencil to paper to how our human resources are being used, and is it well and wisely, and also look at requirements in student IEPs before saying, yes, we need 3. So it's still a work in progress because the applicant pool is not very deep right now. And some celebrations. I know that our grant steering team members did a great job of promoting that when we had our PIR days of back to school, and continue to be a great voice in supporting the goals with the grant. The installation of our additional interior and exterior cameras has been a great addition, and it's just a fantastic tool to have when the need arises. Our installation of our new fire alarm system, we got to see if it worked. That sucker is pretty sensitive. It's not loud. Like the tone is very mild, and it's a voice that says, fire, go to the nearest exit. And it just like repeats that. So it's not an ear piercing like the old system was so loud, like you couldn't hear yourself think. And this one, it's very effective, and the lights flash. But what happened was there was a teacher that had her kids exit through the back door to out of the blue pod to the playground. And she left that door ajar, and well, it's kind of smoky outside. That wafted in enough, and those are really sensitive detectors. I mean, I was about to call a parent. We just finished, and I mean, it goes off, and I'm like, Okay, this is not a drill.
The nice place is I can see exactly where the sensor went off. We walk right to the classroom, you can see what
it.
sensor it was. Before, we had no
Idea. So I think Scott was there quickly and Mr. Andreessen was there really quickly just to support and make sure. Yeah, there was no smoke or fire, but that's how sensitive those.
Wow.
So it was a good learning experience.
I met with Tom last week. I walked to the school with him, and I was very impressed with all the classrooms we went into. Just sort of the participation with the teachers and the students, and the cameras where they're pointed at, getting all the angles. As a father of 2 kids in that school, security and safety is my utmost importance. Right there with education. Them learning things. Would help because I don't want to support them forever. But no, I was super impressed. And when Tom told me that story about it going off just because the door cracked, I mean, that's
Everybody, the drills we do to prepare, the preparedness drills pay off. Like, everyone's kind of looking around, but they took action and they exited the building. By the time I had gotten from my office up to like the brown pod area to start checking classrooms, they were out.
Yeah.
That quick.
Yeah, I talked to my boys about it, and they just said we had a fire drill. They just thought it was a drill. Like they didn't have any clue that it was a situation that
Yeah.
It was 3 buttons and not a hope it goes off. This time it was 3 buttons and it was reset.
Yes.
So it was.
I would think that sound would be better than that piercing.
Oh, it
Because
is.
that used to scare so many of them.
So many, yep.
Mandy Rose said it's
Well, they
very
should-
calm voice.
Yes, it's a
In
very.
fact, we were talking to her
calm
about it today, and she's like, you just do what you have to do. There's no panic to it.
Yeah. Yeah, you hear that screeching sound, and then everyone starts panicking.
Yeah,
Start
yeah.
where
And your heart
do I
starts
go?
going
And
like this,
it's just like, please exit to the nearest door.
So we have our actual fire evacuation drill.
You didn't count it?
Huh?
You didn't count it?
They'll be
Well,
ready.
we did count it, but it's on the agenda.
On schedule, it's not.
Lights are in the bus lane for safety, and it's made a huge difference.
Oh.
They are dawn to dusk lights, so they come on automatically. So that way, when it's dark in the mornings, our bus lane is no longer. And we can move forward. Updates to note, our grade 6 is a 4-period rotation. We had to go back to 4 teachers based on number of students, moving from 5th into 6th. I did create abbreviated schedules that are now in our staff handbook for easy access. So there's clarity if we have an assembly, if we have to do a delayed start, and then our half-day early release is also in there. We're going to continue to use Edmentum. We are in the midst of our diagnostic benchmark, and then Study Island will be up and ready by October 1st. We still have to roster that program under Edmentum. And then our instructional framework has really been beneficial in helping us to focus our walkthroughs, which started today, and helping just drive our focus that aligns to our big dogs. It's a very positive piece that I'm grateful that we've moved in that direction for pre-K-12. And then our teachers have completed the Title IX required training as well as suicide prevention through our insurance. And so I'm having to cross-check to see who still has not completed that. I still need to do the suicide piece. But the majority of our teachers have finished. So it's been nice to have that as a resource for them to take it at their leisure versus having to come collectively together.
Yeah, I think that was just nothing to do. I appreciated that as
Yeah.
far as using that.
Yeah.
Having to do it for each stage.
And then this is something we just reviewed. This comes from our student handbook, and we just grounded our work at our back to school whole staff session, just to remind us what our mission and vision is, and then what we promise for the students that we serve. And then these are resources that we continue to ground our work in. We did a book study 2 years ago with engaging students with poverty in mind, and it's still relevant for our work, as well as Marianne Brittenham came and worked with our entire faculty several years ago, but we still use that resource as well. So it's just a reminder that we need to continue to grow and develop things that we've already learned from and partner it with the new. And our assessment information, like I said, we're in the middle of our fall benchmark window. There was a MAST summit last Thursday that went over any changes. There's really no major changes to MAST other than there's going to be 3 windows instead of 4, and the testing windows are 8 weeks instead of 6, which is great. Our teachers 3 through 6 have already submitted their testlets for math. They get to choose the order. So that's already been submitted to Ruth. So I think we are ready for math. We'll do the training in late September for the October window.
What was the thoughts behind 8 weeks instead of 6? Did they?
It just to provide more time, because some windows, like if a grade level decided, say, to do 5 math testlets and you still had your, say, your beginning of the year, you have your informational and your literary, that's 7 testlets in 6 weeks. So I think the state's seeing that 8 weeks, and it provides more opportunity for makeup and also provides a little more flexibility so that you are really aligning the administration of that test with what you just taught.
Okay, right.
And then our school counselors worked with our staff for a little while, just reminding them of our counseling program and way to make referrals for students, way students to make referrals. And they also did a great job working on our pacing guide for our year 4 of Second Step. And then these are our continued big dogs. I talked last month about those. And they do align to our instructional framework. And so this is something that we are keeping at the forefront. This is the draft of our instructional framework. What you see outlined in red are our focus for our areas of focus for this school year. It doesn't mean everything else goes aside, but we're really focusing on measuring the areas in red with walkthroughs. And this just reminds us, and something that we strive for, is that creating a community of practice that deprivatizes our profession so that we are a community of public practice where feedback is not feared, but it fosters our growth. So we talked about family and community engagement, and we gave it more of an in-depth definition. Really focusing on the partnership that empowers families to be active participants in their child's education, which will lead to improved outcomes. And this was our newsletter that went out to families in mid-August. And it's something that I'm going to try and do at least 4 times a year, just to make sure families stay current on the happenings of our school. And Parent Square will be continue to be used. Our teachers do a very good job of using that to communicate not only math messages with their class, but also direct messages. It's been a great addition, so thank you. And then we just talked about our master schedule. We did have to make some tweaks because we have 4 less school days collectively, and then we added 6 more half days in addition to the 2 already. So in 4, 5, and 6, it was really tight making the 1,080 minutes. So afternoon recess had to be short. That's the only time of day I have to play with. So it's not my favorite, but we had to, for accreditation, hit the 1080. And it was tight for 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I mean, 4 less days and 6 new half days.
A week. Or
It was a lot.
days. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, it was a lot of instructional time.
Yeah.
And this was, well, that one, if you can go back. So I thought this was pretty powerful, and it really is what we're grounding in the key for routines and adhering to the master schedule, that even 2 minutes a day off task is 1 day of instruction lost over the course of a school year.
Mhm.
So I thought that was pretty powerful. That was from Carrie Cole. And so I think it really puts things into perspective. You know, when we talk about bell-to-bell instruction, and it just, when you start putting that pencil to paper and how those compound and what it means for lost instructional time. That was pretty powerful.
Well, and that goes with what Scott was saying. We're trying to have more time with teachers and students,
Yes,
and yet there are interruptions.
I know.
Not calling a fire drill.
Yeah, I know, but yes.
Who cares about smoke?
Yeah.
So then our focus again for our walkthroughs for the first 9 weeks, we decided to just focus on the 5 to 1, positive to negative or corrective, and the learning target. Is it apparent, yes or no? So we're going to start there and then build over time based on what that data shows us. And so we decided this year that we're not going to have names on the walkthroughs, that it's just you're keeping a pulse, but we do give written feedback to our teachers on what we saw. And then differentiation is continued. I was talking to a 5th grade teacher today about their rotation and what they're really doing to focus on math, especially during the workshop time, because they have found that the kids, these are the 5th graders this year, they were in kindergarten when COVID occurred. And they're really seeing those math skills at a struggle. And so they're mobilizing, 4th grade also is mobilizing to really focus on building those math skills and trying to regain some ground. And then we're continuing with our MTSS process, again, to have a support framework to meet the needs of all students. And this is just our multi-tiered systems support framework that's been adapted for this year. It's a place where teachers can go or parents can go to see what types of supports we have for academic, behavior, interventions, and our universal interventions for each academic and behavior system. And then our continued implementation with Branching Minds. I know we've got a couple of new teachers on board, and one of them has really taken to it well and can see the value in making sure to document. I think all of our teachers this year, I've noticed an increase in understanding of how to document so that we can better meet the needs of the children. Like it provides that data that then we can problem solve.
And that's the one that carries through, correct?
Correct. Yep. And then our leadership teams, the DLT should be happening probably later this month. Then our SLT will happen at the end of the month. PBIS happens tomorrow. Our MTSS grade level content team meetings start next week. Then so does our school-wide intensive support team meeting. And then individual student support team meetings, we already have a few that we need to put on deck for attendance. And then our parent council meets the second Tuesday of the month.
Discipline process. There is our Teach Twos. There is a list of probably about 30 different Teach Twos in our building. PBIS is going to conquer changing them all into a kid-friendly mode. So that's the next step, like this one that's here for that's the hallways. Yes. For hallway expectations, that's what we expect all of our kids to follow. Going down the hallway, basically you're quiet in any other pod. You're having one voice or less for everywhere you're at. So if you're somebody else, if you're a guest in another pod, you're actually at a 0. So everything goes very smoothly. We have the kid-friendly for the lunchroom commons and as well as hallways. And then there are also in the Student Success Centers also has one. So we have quite a few to put into this mode yet, but we have Teach Twos for bathroom behavior, just about everything that you can imagine. Bus behavior and so forth. Okay. Golden tickets and positive office referrals. The golden tickets are still, that goes to kids that are doing the right thing at the right time. The positive office referral goes to those kids that are always doing things right, always doing things at a positive tone. And we do lunch with one student from each grade level each month. We have that the last day of each month. And that's been a big hit with our students since we started it 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 3 years ago. This will be the 4th year of the positive office referral luncheon. So McDonald's is still willing to pair with us.
And you all get golden tickets, huh?
Still golden
So you
tickets.
get free lunch.
Yeah, we do from McDonald's.
We do.
That's why I ate McDonald's.
Yeah.
Tom gets 2 happy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, our behaviors, this is for the 4th year that we're working on this, for 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years that we've been doing this in school. It is improved every year. We add a little bit here and tweak a little bit as we go. Our flow chart is there. Everything runs pretty smoothly. Your moderate office referrals and then your major office referrals for Infinite Campus. And there's a how-to on each of those, how to submit those forms as well. And we sit down with those that don't do them right as well. The anti-bullying policy, you can find it in the handbook, the website, on the dashboard. Teachers will fill out the anti-bullying report with the child, or the counselors, and Mrs. Kidwell and I have both filled those out. And each one comes right directly to our desks as soon as they hit submit. It is either on my desktop or Janine's, so we get to them very quickly. It's pretty good setup, and we are ready for this year. Yeah. The behavior pathway, basically MTSS behavior, takes you from the students on the right that are doing everything for the most part correctly, to your moderate behaviors in the middle, and then your severe. Your number of behaviors determines where you're at, and then it also on the bottom part gives you ideas and what to do with those kids and where they need to go to on the next step. Basically in that middle section, I believe it's 2 to 3 behavior referrals, ODRs in the first month of school, then they go to that next step in the process. If you just follow how it, basically what it says on there, then you go follow those steps down, and it brings it to different meetings, and we talk about those kids during our, yeah, we have one on deck for Thursday meeting already, so it's getting to that process and getting the kids the help that they need to be successful.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes, sir.
So one thing I'm confused on, just as, you know, a parent again in the school, is like the refocus. I know some teachers do a lot of like like a lot of written refocuses, which tend to like make the students feel like they've screwed up a lot more than just like hey, pay attention. Kind of. So how do the refocuses work exactly? Like, is it per teacher and how they want to use them? And so, like, there's not an amount of refocuses. I mean, obviously, if the kids get refocused every day, there's probably a bigger issue.
You
But
get so many refocuses, and then it turns into a referral usually in most
Okay.
classes.
Or a moderate.
Or a moderate referral.
Yeah.
okay,
And then those moderates, after 3 moderates, it becomes a major.
okay.
So
So there's no just.
get those
I mean,
referrals.
it's up to each teacher on how they want to do the refocus.
Correct, at each grade level.
It's really grade level driven, how they use them.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I would say the younger grades, not so much.
Yeah, the
I would
older,
say starting in 3rd
absolutely.
Okay.
is where those, and some teachers use them a little more.
Liberal and
Liberally, that's the word I'm looking for than others, yeah.
okay.
Some teachers hardly ever use refocus.
Yeah, and I've spoken with several teachers already about it, just trying to get my feel and trying to, be as proactive as I can here as a board member for however much time I got. And that's why I hear some teachers said, and I really never write them up. It's just, I just tell them to knock it off, and unless it becomes like super aggressive or to the point of where, you know.
Say 85% of your students never get refocus.
Yeah.
It's that, I think 15% that has quite a few of them. Some of them, it sets them off due.
Yeah, so you gotta learn that maybe that's not a tool that works for that child,
Yeah,
that it's more of a trigger. So you've gotta be
yeah.
mindful, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for answering. Appreciate it. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Thank you. This is our regulation station. There is basically a bouncy chair almost. It's a chair in each room this is next to it. Also fidgets are there and how to use it. The teach to on the right-hand side, but it goes they set a 3-minute timer and then they're back to work. Hopefully that will regulate their behavior, get them back on task, back to where we need them to be.
Maybe decrease some of those refocuses.
You need a bouncy chair.
Yeah.
Line up, sit up, listen, ask and answer, nod, and track the teacher. It's in every classroom in our building. Initiative last year. Trying to do DLT and works pretty well in most classes. Depends how you use it and how you put it forth. Student Success Center, a safe place to reflect, repair, and learn. Under a different repair this year, and it's starting off really good. Definitely respect that repair piece is what we're really working on and really concentrating on. Repair and then get them back into the classroom.
Teachers.
In that basically, yes, a teach piece, making sure that they learn from their mistakes. Active supervision of the playgrounds. We basically broke the front playground into 5 zones. In order to have that zone open, they have to have a person there watching the students. So not too big of an area so that all the kids in it can be playing safely. And if we have 2 staff members, you can only have 2 zones open.
So what does that look like as far as scheduling? Like, are there ever times where all 5 zones are open? What is the average?
Lunch recess, yes.
All 5 zones are open?
We
Okay.
have 3 pairs, myself are out there, plus we usually have another additional pair with a one-on-one that comes out and they can watch more than the one-on-one student.
Okay.
So the rationale for that, especially with the field, is that there was kids like nowhere near an adult. And because that field is huge. And so just watching and seeing incidents over the past several years and just you've got to have proximity to actively supervise to keep kids safe or to intervene fluidly if things go south, because sometimes they do. And so that field was just so large that it wasn't supervised well. And so we thought by shrinking the space, you could keep it safe. And that's why the field is in 2 parts instead of one large.
Yeah, I mean, that field leads right up to the track. Football field, and then up to the other part of the field, and then to my yard, basically.
Students past the track, on the track.
Yeah,
It broke down pretty well.
no, that's
It
great.
makes it a much safer place to play during recess. Back playground we have zoned out as well.
So they're not near the fence line at all, like near Balsam
Yep.
or near the buildings, like, because class is going on.
Yeah,
And so they've done a really good job.
no,
Yeah.
it looks great.
New play equipment, there are all kinds of new balls. We purchased balls last year, had them in a cage out front of the gym. It had worked really well and definitely want that to continue. We purchased more balls this year and they have ample enough balls to play with for hopefully all year. I have a whole box yet that I haven't even opened. So
I may or may not have accidentally kicked a football into the roof of the gym last year. I'm just saying, just.
They're all in.
They're down there. Okay.
there's more back on top already.
I'm not saying it wasn't you. I'm not saying it was me, for sure, but rumor has it.
And just a thank you, I know Mr. Rebo and Mr. Snyder for visiting our school. We invite all you board members to come and see the learning in action. You're Your feedback is always welcome. And we appreciate your commitment to the children of Libby, so thank you.
Thank you for what you guys do. It was a great experience going there and just kind of, seeing it, I see it as a parent all the time, but, to see it as a board member and, kind of get into it a little deeper was great. I plan on bugging you guys quite a bit, so.
And only if you keep leave those footballs alone.
Yeah, well, in my defense, it was a really good kick. Probably my best kick ever.
Okay, and you had to hide it that whole time. Okay, so moving on, Mr. Goodman.
There's parent communication being used quite a bit still. This is beginning of the year, obviously, but still being used. 97% of our parents are contactable. That's different than being sharing things. Next slide, buildings and ground information. And this is kind of the bulk of my conversation this afternoon. Is last week the building committee got together as buildings and ground and started talking about the possibility of building apartments at the McGrady Center. Not in the McGrady Center, but behind the McGrady Center. And here are some of our thoughts from that meeting. Employee recruitment would be the key reason. I think if we had 4, maybe even 5 apartments, it would be an incredible way to recruit teachers and get a little bit more as far as like the space. But we do have property and we have the resources to complete the project. We've been collecting rent at the McGrady Center since 2004. And in the last, few years, we've doubled the rent. And we're not only is it doubling the rent, but we have all of our spaces filled up. We have space, we've rented out the locker rooms. And so I think we do a pretty good job of taking care of the facility over the last few years. We still have some work that needs to be done in there. But it has become a pretty good revenue resource for us. Next slide. So everybody, I think, is somewhat familiar with McGrady. Of course, you got the road going along the front there. And then McGrady, and of course, the Plummer Center is they're twin schools. But basically, if you look in terms like the tree lines going through there, that's about 5 acres of land that's in that spot. And I just think that would be a really great place to put some housing. And I think it would be a great opportunity, not only for us for recruiting, but 10, 15 years from now, I think it'd be an incredible asset for us as well. Who knows what's going to take place with funding, but if we can be in a place where we can bring teachers in and take care of people moving to our community and settling in, it'd be really great. I'm not sure what that next slide is, but you want to give me let's go back to the slide and go backwards. Sorry about that. In addition, I guess in addition to this whole issue of if we could rent some, instead of having an affordable place to have our teachers settle in and all that business, there's a lot of conversation had with this, but we also found out today that Stacy, you want to explain it?
So the workers' compensation program will help to fund any missing funds. Like if we say we wanted to drop our rent to help new teachers out at the McGrady, behind the McGrady, if we build something. If we want to just charge them $500 a month just to help them out, MSGIA, which is workers' comp, will fill in the gap of what rent in Lincoln County would be on average, and they will say it's $1,000 on average for rent in Lincoln County. So workers' comp would actually pay us and fill in the difference. So.
Wow.
It's an incredible opportunity.
So how much is that gonna be?
It's been going on for a long time. We've just.
And because we've talked about this.
They've been doing it for a long time. There's a lot of districts that have teachers rentals that they invest in.
So Ron, and I don't want to dwell on this, but when we talked about this, when we were talking about upstairs before it got rented out
Yes.
We talked about the possibility of doing something, but not having them stay forever, being a kickoff place.
That's
Is
great.
that still?
That is
Because I know some teachers, people have stayed there. I
for
mean,
30 years.
yeah.
Yeah. So we had that conversation as well. And so my thought was, you know, hey, where do you start off? And it gets more expensive because, and oddly enough, the hospital, Tony told them, they have a policy of how they try and recruit people and get them settled in the community and get them on their feet. So if they drive into town with 4 bald tires, it's not going to be such a big deal for them. So I think that whole issue of trying to get people in there and settle themselves, and then also give them an incentive to, you're going to have to get out of here. Because we're going to raise the rent until we want people, best case scenario, we want people moving in here and staying for a little bit and then making good financial decisions and try, for the Lord, try to buy a house in the community, because that's just the number
Can you
one first
imagine
step.
paying $500 a month rent?
Well, Tony said at that meeting,
My first rent was $250 a month, but that was a long time ago.
Mine too. Tony even said at that meeting we just had the other day that what's like the first 3 months, like kind of you.
Yeah, so what we do, we have it on a tier system that if we're hiring someone with a license or provider, somebody with a credential that we need, and if it's a community benefit, we give them the first 3 months to get their feet on the ground, give them an opportunity to start. They may be trying to sell a house somewhere else, whatever. And then after that 3 month, we have the next 6-month probationary period. And in that 6-month probationary period, there is a fee to rent that facility. But if they're bad renters, or they're a problem, or they have issues, we have the right to, we could end that contract immediately. And it's not you got 30 days to get out. We could.
It's
Then at the end of 6 months, we then have the next step where if they're still there, we raise the rent. So kind of talking what Ron was talking about, rent is, if you include utilities, you're talking about $10 a square foot. And so you could start off charging somebody at that $5 a square foot for that first 6 months. It's less. You've got a stipend coming in to offset that difference. And then at the end of that time frame, you raise it up to the maximum amount that we could be renting it for to anyone else. And if they continue to stay there, then you go above market value. And so then we'd be renting it to someone. And the whole purpose of it is to rent it to and entice new teachers to come here. We don't want somebody there for 3 or 4 years. We have 3 or 4 years in of not being able to get a new teacher coming in. So you basically price them out of the house.
That makes sense.
It is what it is, but at the same token, if they decide to stay, there's a value to the fact that you may be building an additional one or something else.
We're talking about 800 to 1,000 square foot, space. It's probably like 2 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and then maybe 2 bedroom, 1 bath. With that space though, like what the city's requirements are to build a fourplex is you need 8,000 square feet. So that's basically quarter of an acre,
Well, that's what I was thinking.
So you could, honestly, if you wanted to, you could build one, to start with, but if it was successful and helped our school district, you could end up building, you could build 5 or 6 back there if you really wanted to. I'm not saying you want to, do that necessarily, but I'm saying the opportunity to put and we talked about single level too, so.
Sewer and water.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to.
I wondered about the well out there.
There's other things that go into it, so
There's a
you
well.
don't go nuts.
But the well out there used to be when we couldn't drink any of the water in town, we got the water from out there.
Integrated East View.
So
one of my thoughts on this is, number one, if we can't vote on it at this point because we haven't, had any 48 hours on it or anything like that. But in order for this committee to move forward, I think if anybody's opposed to this or has anything like that, I think more than anything, it's just kind of a blessing to start doing some of that groundwork so that next month we can come up and say, here's a more of a solid proposal. That sounds fair to the board. I think it's a great idea. Even the fact that if theoretically, what we believe, and if we think we're right on is, if we decided not to charge them for the first 3 months, we would still get the money as a school district. And yeah,
So I get the property part, where's the resources coming?
that's coming from a grade. We've been renting that place out for
We have
It's
enough
saved
space.
up.
2004. Yeah, we've been just holding that.
So that money's been coming in since 2004, but it's also coming from Plummer, because we rent that out to Head Start and they pay us for their lease. McGrade is a big contender, but also this building, we've been renting out rooms. So that money has not necessarily been touched. It's, I don't want to call it a rainy day fund, but say a boiler exploded.
Don't say that.
Okay. We
Call it a rainy day.
We have budgeted for it for the upcoming year, so we would use those funds to replace that boiler and to help us out. So we do have some money sitting there that it would be okay to dip into, to help out teachers,
Well,
to come to our community.
Giving you a rough ballpark number, so I kind of put some numbers, for a fourplex ground level, 2 one-bedroom apartments, 2 two-bedroom apartments, basically an 800 and, an 1,100 square foot, 1.5 baths, back-to-back, so there's the water on one side will back the other side, so the commodes, baths, all that like that. You're looking at, for groundwork and everything, it's probably going to be around in the neighborhood between, pretty close between 600 and 700,000 for completed. That's include wells and
this is complete.
Yeah, that's with well.
fourplex,
and-
wells and everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, to give you just kind of a rough
Yeah.
idea of what that would be, and this is something that would boost the local economy as well, because this can all be done locally. Local contractors doing this work. I don't see any need that we would have to look outside. There's several guys that are building these exact things all over town. There's several right now on Second Street, some down here.
Probably a dozen building permits on these same exact things that we're talking about.
So are we looking at the ones like on Second Street, or are we looking at individual?
So for individual will be on the ground level.
That's
Mainly,
what I thought.
we were talking with Ron about it too. Part of the deal has been the age of the recruitment. They've been, some teachers that have been, I wasn't saying that, I was carefully wording my.
It's okay.
But with that in mind, it's much easier to be all ground level, not climbing stairs. My mother-in-law lives in Jeremy's down over here, and the people above on the top floor, it's a booger to get furniture in and out of they got a nice staircase, but then it's 90 degrees. Nobody can get in there, but yeah, so to make it really super convenient, we talked about too, also included in that was open-end carports on both sides. So if you had basically a duplex and a duplex, some kind of grass or sidewalk in between them, so you've got kind of 2 different entry points, open like garage type thing. And instead of single garages, you get one car and nothing else fits in there. So kind of a good model is that one that's down here. He's got them on one end versus on each end, but with this maturing leave, it's restricted in space. There's so much space there that you could do a lot. And honestly, as I had talked to Ron, I think it'd be smart that we got a local architect to help us with some drawings. There's several people that the cost is, it's not like going to Kalispell and getting a big architect. You can get some locals here that could do up some drawings and give us some, that way when we put it to bid, we're really bidding apples to apples. Everybody has that bid package and it's exactly the same. And that would be the bang for the buck where we're.
And then also with all that space, I think something that's very important is to have some green space too available for families, kids, dogs. I mean, because obviously if we're going to try to be recruiting, good teachers in the area, we're obviously going to have some that are, older, as Tony put, rudely. But also, you know, like maybe we'll get those younger ones with like a young family with, you know, toddlers or kids that are just about ready to go to school. That
Well,
wanna
they're
come to
right
the
next to
district.
the park too.
Yeah, exactly. It's a beautiful spot. You're right next to the park, but then you have some green space and, you know, that.
I think it's a grand
I think
idea.
it's, yeah.
I think it'd be kind of fun.
I think it's kind of bizarre, myself, but hey, sorry to rain on the parade, but, why don't we use some of this newly found money and just pay the teachers more instead of being land moguls and stuff? I mean, the principal would have been here already, right, if we'd have paid him a little bit more money than when we interviewed.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
issue
I
would
mean,
be
just,
one
if
time.
we got all this, we're such a restricted budget all the time, and all of a sudden we're gonna be land developers. It's bizarre.
So the one thing though, Cody, to look at too with payer mix is that if you look at the total budget of what a business is, it should be somewhere no more than 85% of your total budget should be wages. And we're at 87.1. We're well over the state average. I can tell you that as far as putting more money towards teachers versus fixing infrastructure or investing in the future, I mean, I disagree with that.
Yeah, I disagree with you.
When we're sitting at 87.1% of our budget is in the wages already and going higher.
I don't think that's the answer.
Well, it is one-time money too, so we do have to be careful, because it's not, I mean,
I mean,
we've collected since 2004.
we'll see what the community thinks about that one, but I don't think that,
Well, one of our biggest issues is for people moving here and being able to afford an apartment, a place to live.
you're lowering the cost for a teacher to move here. So essentially, you're giving them money. Why don't you just pay them more on,
Well, there's a union, you'd have to pay everybody. It's not
Yeah,
just.
you can do it
it's
just
a
like
truck.
Stars Act, just do it on the initial. There's, the CBA is a minimum you have to pay. It doesn't say you can't pay them more. You can pay a first year teacher more.
Which we have in the past, we've done steps and ladders,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
we've
come
negotiated
on.
things, but,
But
okay,
also
we
think
probably
that-
should,
That money comes back to us a little bit too, right? Because we're, you know, say we invest $500,000, $600,000 to build this fourplex. You know, but we start running out, okay, the state's giving us that money back for the first 3 months, and then, as Tony mentioned, like maybe doing the same kind of system that the hospital does, okay? Here's your next 6 months,
Yeah.
here's your next month, here's
It
your
would
next
be an
month,
investment,
okay,
yeah.
it's, you know, it works as an
I
investment.
don't think we should run the school like the hospital.
So one of the other things that took place this year when the federal dollars were at risk. And at that point, if we didn't get our Title I money, that'd be over $400,000. And you think of all these other issues that can take place. Yeah, I mean, that whole issue of having a bunch of money setting aside is a very good idea. Yeah, we have seen that in the last couple of years where grants haven't come through, and next thing you know, everybody's $400,000 or $500,000 on the short side. So.
we've seen lots of schools do it, unfortunately. Okay, do you want to,
Yeah.
Donna, you can finish your,
You bet. Next, slide was. Yeah, so this issue of, we just have the pros and cons. Teacher recruitment could be a very attractive long-term investment for the school as well, as far as saying, you know, what are we gonna do? Yeah, I think that would be a very good option. I don't think there's anything else, but the big issue is this. You know, I think we don't vote on this, but it sounds like the majority thinks that that's something that you should at least get more information on.
Yes, absolutely.
What I don't want to do is go down and, you know, try and find a bunch more information and then let's not do it. So I think that would be the tacit saying, yeah, let's go ahead and see what we can do.
I think we need solid numbers to make a decision. I don't like making decisions on, it could be around, I appreciate that information, but
It's gonna be hard to do
Yeah.
that without hiring, you know, so one, I know it's our property, but you're gonna have to perk test the ground, you're gonna have to see what's all playing, the permitting side of it. I mean, you've got 2 people on the board that lead that down, but as far as giving you it's gonna be best guess and estimate. It's gonna go off of average construction costs.
Right.
And then, all of that, unless you get into SD design,
That's a little different.
So-
That's a cost in itself.
So the ones on Second Street and then the ones on Commerce next to the old bowling alley, those are basically being done for about $350. So, but they have city water and sewer, so it's a little bit cheaper. You're not drilling a well, you're not getting that. And then also a lot of those are, owner, like they're basically doing it for themselves. So they're saving some money on the cost of labor. Obviously that's going to be a little bit more because, the school's not going to be built into themselves. They're going to have to hire, a qualified contractor. But that being said, I know there's several qualified contractors in this town that would give like a hometown discount basically to the school to help out. Several of them have donated time to help build, dugouts and stuff at the new, fast pitch fields and stuff like that. So, without mentioning names. So those contractors are out there. So, I think Tony's estimate of 6 to 7 would be like on the high end. I think it could even come in a little bit.
I did get in a bid from a floor plan from local contractors, and I don't mean just using bubble drawings. You could get, we have like 800 square foot, basic this and this. They can come up with a rough ballpark.
Yeah.
I could probably pull some certified plans from
And you
my
could
office and
Yeah.
have them. I don't know if that's legal or not, but.
Did you want to move on to the charter school or?
Yep. Now, charter school, there are 44 students enrolled in public school, or public charter school. The goal is 42 and we're 44 today, and another student trying to get in as well. Bullet number 2 is a big one for me.
Yes.
There are 10 students that were not, 10 of those 44 students were not in school at
Yes.
Libby schools last year.
But I will tell you, one of the students that was here last year still kind of drug himself in, well, his mother did. He gets himself up and he gets here and he's through because he had something to do.
No, it's.
So I think the charter school is awesome.
Well, I will tell you something, like, there's a lot of kids upstairs, so sometimes it's like chasing cats, but it is getting better and better every day, literally. Today we had a meeting with the state and the performance framework for the charter school. And basically what we're looking at is we're looking at attendance, and oddly enough, that was something that we had targeted, social emotional resilience, and then also academic growth. Those are the 3 big ones that we're going after. And as much as it seems like, well, as far as, I think the biggest issue that we're going to be facing is attendance. Why? Because the attendance is part of all the other thought
Yes.
processes that are involved. And I just see that when kids, if they're not here on a regular basis, it's so hard to stay up with what's taking place and feeling like it's not important. So really, I see that as a big challenge for us and an important challenge to go ahead and change a lot of thoughts about working and thoughts about school.
How has the increased attendance affected behaviorally upstairs? Like how's it, is it working all right?
It's like having 10 cats versus 5 cats in your car. No, like that first day, and if you've ever been in my office when it's taking place, this is killer, and if you're right underneath it, you're, oh my gosh. The first day was busy. You would agree? But it has, I think, trended down quite a bit. So
We were just talking about that today in our office, how nice it is.
less, I
Yeah,
would agree.
a lot less.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's the same thing. And if they jump up and down on it, you feel like the ceiling's going to come down. So yeah, attendance it is going to.
Ron, were those 10 ever in school?
Say that again.
The 10 that have come in new, that were not in school, have they ever been in a school system?
Yes,
They have.
they have. never very successfully.
That's, mhm,
And they haven't, most of them haven't been here for, K through
that's,
10 or
mhm.
something like that. That's not the case. So, and I think that the bigger issue is, I think so much homeschooling took place over COVID, and a lot of people moved here during COVID just to get away from that. And now here they are, and they're saying, well, we really need to be together.
Yeah.
Others. So, yeah, overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. Even looking at the framework that we're talking, the group that we met with today, most of them were in the situation last year. So they did it the first year, and then we got it the second year. And so a lot of the reports that have to be done and all that kind of stuff, they're still trying to figure out how to best do it, because all the schools are different. They're a charter school, they're a little laboratory that we're trying to do some things.
Mhm.
So our big issue is, trying to form a good relationship as possible and going and really helping these kids be comfortable in that whole issue of working and learning. Any questions on that? We have some new law and special education, already shared that information out, and no longer 22, it's 18. So last year's students that graduated by IEP goals are able to return until age 22. And we're working on plans, and that's just gonna take more resources. So,
Do we have anyone that's come back yet?
Yes, the bigger issue in all of this is hiring people. That's been one of our biggest hassles this year. I know Mr. Beagle has been working at it hard, and we're working at it, and it's just very difficult to hire people anymore. And it used to be where hiring was taking place in the spring, now it's taking place a big portion of the year. So, yeah, so we're working on plans and then how to deal with that. What's that?
How'd that come about? It seems to
Story of this lecture.
It goes with attendance. Yeah, no, it's difficult to hire anybody, and I hear that from a lot of people in town. So, I think that's my last slide. But,
That's it.
okay.
Okay.
Ron, I'll get escape, Mr. Bay.
Okay. Moving on then to personnel. We have 0 resignations, retirements, or reduction of force, which we like to see. Okay, moving on to the consideration of 25-26 staff contracts and transfers. So really, we just have one. I'm assuming there was no updates, right?
Nope.
So we just have the substitute list. So I would need a motion, please.
Which one's you on that?
The substitute.
Make a motion to approve that 25-26 substitute hire list that's presented here.
Second.
I have a motion by Tony and a second by Rob to approve the 25-26 substitute hire list. Any questions or comments on it? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, and spread the word. We need paraprofessionals, right? Okay. Okay, moving on to old business, consideration of policy updates.
Okay.
Elida, you said this is the first reading?
This.
No, she's gonna probably
This
do
is-
that in the motion.
Okay. Are you ready? I move we have the second reading of policy 3665, 5123, 5252, 8560, 107 FE, 109 FE, 101 5 FE, 2050, 2100, 2150. Did I read the other one right? I hope.
Yeah,
2158, 2165, 2165 NF1, 2334, 2413, 2450.
keep going.
Keep going.
Do you need some water?
Really, it's 1 through 26.
26.
Yeah.
3110, 3121, 3141, 3310, 3416, 3650, 5122, 5255, 5430, and F1.
And that's it for
And
second.
that's all.
Yeah.
For second reading.
I'll second.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Tony to approve the policy updates as listed. Any questions or comments on any of them? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
I move that we have the first reading on 8301, school safety. And we had questions on that last time.
And you sent out the email with the update, correct?
Yes.
I need a second, please.
I'll second.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Walt to do a first reading of policy 8301 on school safety. Any questions or comments?
Packets that you got are already changes of the policies that some of them, so we have to have another meeting. So.
These are not new. These are updates on ones we've already discussed.
Skippy, so we'll have to pick a time.
Okay, well, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
And yeah, I guess we will look after the meeting to set a new policy meeting. Okay, moving on to new business. Consideration of out-of-state travel for junior class to Spokane, Washington. This is Miss Taney. We chatted about this last time. I did have to giggle. In her letter, it says the play will last 2 minutes. So it made me laugh.
I think it'll be a little longer
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah, she meant 2 hours, but it made me laugh when she said it will be approximately 2 minutes. So we do need a motion and a second to approve that.
Oh, I move that we accept and thoroughly ask them enjoy their 2 minutes for the junior class to travel to Spokane.
Second.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Rob to approve the out-of-state travel for the junior class to Spokane, Washington. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Light, I got one other new business since there was nothing else. So Mr. Bimler, when I was at open house, he asked me, or I asked him if he'd write me up a little thing to share with the board.
Okay, so this is just information.
Yep.
It's not on the agenda, so
No,
nothing.
it's
can
just
be voted.
information under new.
Okay.
Yeah. And Mr. Bean can even help me out a little bit with it too. So he wrote to me last spring, they applied for a lower grant to purchase a new shooting machine. He did not trade in the old ones, so now they have 2. The machine will cover graphics, et cetera. It was listed for $11,329. Dr. Dish gave some discounts and they got it for $8,052. The best part, there was no cost to the school district whatsoever. Lord covered the entire price. They were awarded the grant in July. To my understanding, Mr. Bimler did all the work for this. Is that right, Mr. Bean?
That is correct.
He did everything himself and got this. It's sitting in the high school gym over the side. I went and looked at it. It is really cool. So it'll help with the basketball teams. Mr. Bean, you might be better at all what he does.
So it's a machine that you set up underneath the basket, and it's got a counter on it. This new one that we have 2 different styles. We've got a Dr. Dish and then the one that's called a gun. But the Dr. Dish one that we have has like a 21-inch LCD screen, and kids will register our kids for it, and they'll sign up, and then we can send them programs for shooting, and they just click on the program, and then the machine actually moves. There's a moving part of it to around the 3-point line, and it kicks the ball out for the program that you're doing. There's specific programs you can create your own, or they have some already built in. And then there's also a sensor that goes underneath the hoop, then it tracks makes and misses and gives you instant feedback. They're pretty cool. They're really, really useful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so, I just wanted to share that because that's a good win. And we never hear about that stuff. And
Right.
I just happened to be in there and they didn't think anybody ever visited him in the gym. I went and looked at that machine. So pretty cool thing. So if we see Todd, Mr. B said he did all the legwork for it and got it, so
Cool.
cool deal.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
So if we made like a little thank you card,
That'd be awesome.
it's super. And then the other person that we probably wanted to do something with is Keith Ivers. He wrote a lower grant for the asphalt along the walking trail, which is more like an obstacle course. And
It's 100 times better now.
yeah, and then Noble,
Yeah.
the pavers decided to pave it all the way up and take care of it as well. So yeah, so there's Noble paving.
Yeah,
And yeah, so we.
please, let's do that. We hear these cool wins and then, we
I think it's important to recognize that, so people, and especially let it know in our community, because, you know, the one thing I've learned just being on the board for the month or so I've been on it is, one, I was lied to, there's way more than 2 meetings a month.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think the community sees all the things that make this work, you know, they have their ideas and they think this and that and other stuff's happening, but they don't realize what, you know, these gentlemen here at the high school, mostly probably Janine over here at the middle or elementary school does, but I mean, but like, there's a lot that goes into this, and
Hard
you
work,
know,
it's
and,
not easy.
you know, even as board members, you know, we definitely put in our time in our extra time reading emails and things like that. So it'd be great if more of the community would come out here and see that. And maybe if they saw some of the wins we're getting, maybe that would make them realize that, you know.
So, you know, I think in the last few years, that whole issue of some of the things that have taken place with our facilities, with some pretty good upgrades. And then even now, you know, that whole issue of the softball field at the Plummer School.
Right.
That's gonna be a really great asset for the community. So,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Beachy.
I move that we adjourn this meeting, unless you want to stay longer.
No, I'll
Are
second.
you sure?
I'll second.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Rob, excuse me, to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed. Have a good night, you guys.